This is reposted.
Today's episode is brought to you by Disney Plus. We're looking at a quote from Lin-Manuel Miranda in the song The Revolution from Hamilton. He says, "What is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see." I think there's different ways you can look at legacy. I just recently rewatched Hamilton. He wants the entire world to know who he was in perpetuity. Some people think a better legacy is raising a family and having the people around you love you and remember you, and that seems more finite. Have you thought about what you want your legacy to be?
Am I going to get my shot, Andrew? Am I going to get my shot?
As long as you don't throw it away.
It's funny when you talk about legacy. When I first read this, I was like, legacy sounds like a rich guy thing. I'm going to leave my legacy to my inheritance.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what he's saying. But like legacy, don't you just live your day you live your life and then theoretically your people just pick up your legacy?
Yeah, but I think you can be more intentional with what you want your legacy to be. For me, this is like a reminder of be intentional with what you do with your time, because I've found myself in different seasons of my life where I'm focusing on, I got to get this project done, I got to get X job, I get whatever, save enough money, and you're not thinking about how you interact with people or what positive impact you're leaving on the world. And this to me is like a reminder to be like, hey, take stock of how you're treating your friends and your family.
Yeah, and I think that's a great thing to have. But like if you're a single mom who's working 5 jobs and you got to keep going and keep doing, do you have time to pause and think, what's my legacy going to be? Or do you just have to survive?
I mean, you probably just mainly have to survive, but also you're going to have a legacy whether you think about it
Yeah,
or not.
that's true.
So maybe spend 8 seconds thinking about what it is. Rather than writing a bull, think about what your legacy might be.
The great philosopher Uncle Kirk once said, you never really know what's going to stick into a kid's mind. He's always saying that. Like,
Yeah.
are you going to? I don't remember all sorts of things my dad said, but every once in a while, like a museum he took me to or a game he took the Globetrotters sticks in your mind. So you never really know what's going to pop into the legacy thing. But I like your idea that it's something you got to try to plan out. Like, what's my legacy going to be? Like, did Napoleon say, like, I want a legacy to be that I conquered the world?
Probably.
It's probably a good,
I think the intent of your question is most people don't think what that's going to be. But what you said earlier in this week, that you really love going on walks. And I'm curious if you think your legacy is going to be exploring. Is it going to be your superpower of asking people questions? Have you thought about what people are going to remember about you?
I think just like within my little family, I think
Right.
my legacy will be music was always being played. Like there's always music going on whenever we eat, we clean, whatever, there will be music going on. I think they'll remember that. I hope that it's kindness, like thinking of the less fortunate people. Whenever we go walks, I try to bring granola bars so that when we see someone on the street, like we bring them. So I hope it's like music and like thinking of the less fortunate kind of kindness. That's what I hope legacy would be.
Here's something that I'm curious what you think of. Is your legacy within your family different than the way the world sees you? I think most of the time it is, but maybe ideally it's not different.
Yeah, I think in the ideal world, it's the same, right? Theoretically, you're the same in your little house when nobody else sees you than when you're with a bunch of people. But I think it could be different, but my hope would be that it would be the same.
Yeah. Whether this is good or not, I think my legacy might be that I'm always on time.
Hey, man, I think there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but I think maybe when you put it in perspective of like, I guess it's kind of, it sends you down a rabbit hole of morbid of like, oh, I'm going to be gone. Do I need people to remember me? And maybe a better thought is, does it really matter? If you're living your life in a positive way, does it matter?
I mean, honestly, like, it doesn't matter because you're going to die. Like Napoleon's dead. What's his legacy? That he wanted to conquer the world? Abraham Lincoln, even Steve Jobs, right? Did Steve Jobs think about it like, this iPod's going to be around for the end of time? He's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead.
So maybe I've gone full circle in this thought because I'm watching Hamilton. I'm like, oh, he did so much.
Yeah.
We're so lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be doing more. but you're right. And in the end, he got shot.
And by the way, his legacy, if you watch that film, is mixed, right? Cheats on his wife,
right.
has all sorts, and then by the way, gets shot and dies. That's like he loses his temper, takes on a guy he probably shouldn't have, and dies.
Right.
Look
I guess
around.
if you're listening to this, don't cheat on your wife because you might get shot by an angry man.
Let's raise a glass to freedom, Andrew. Look around. Look around. How lucky we are to be alive.
If you're not ready to throw away your shot, please reach out. You can find us at Reposted Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I'm Andrew Keller for Aaron Burr saying, thanks for stopping by.